Are you excited at the thought of growing your business? Welcome to the Hayley Osborne Show. This is the place where you'll learn how to get more high-quality leads and sales in your business. My goal with this show is to help you grow your business, be inspired, nail your creativity, get the best out of your marketing, and show up as the most fearless superhero version of yourself. I'll be teaching you the tailored frameworks and tools I use to unlock my clients' superpowers and turn them into quality leads and inquiries. And I want the same for you. I started my first business at the age of 25 and continued to build 3 successful businesses along the way. Small business owners are the backbone of the economy, and I'm here to demystify marketing, make it easy for you, and help you reach more customers. Let's do it. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Hayley Osborne Show. I hope that you are well today, wherever you are listening to this from and ready to learn. We are on to episode 84, and today I am so proud to bring you a friend of mine and an acquaintance and an awesome human in business, Gillian Fox. Now, Gillian and I met back in June at a business retreat for a few days in Port Douglas, and we instantly hit it off. You know, when you meet people in business that you're like, they are definitely my people. Well, Gillian hit that chord for me, and I couldn't wait to get her on the podcast actually, because she is a strong, assertive, and successful owner of 2 very incredible businesses who knows women need to put more focus into building their businesses and strategic acumen. She talks about so much with us today, and I'm really excited to have her on the show. She's just knowledge and fire, and she comes with so much experience, and she honestly believes that women are doers and love a massive checklist. And you're probably thinking to yourself, yes, we are, I am, and I have a checklist, and I'm putting my hand up too, but we get caught up in the finer details, and we do. Being strategic requires us to take a long-term view and understand how we can contribute to the commercial outcomes of our businesses. And this is really important, that I think more women need to understand and learn that the commercial outcomes are, the driver of like economic success and the success of our businesses. So Gillian helps really talented women rise and be successful. She's an author, a keynote speaker, executive career coach, and women's career expert. She is the managing director of the Gillian Fox Group and a leadership development consultant for some of Australia's largest organizations. And she also owns another business, Your Brilliant Career. But before she did any of that, though, that's what we're going to talk about in today's episode. She has a cracking start to her career, and I really want to bring this to your ears because I think it is such a beautiful story. She has so many experiences. Let's just call it a little bit of the devil wears Prada. And I guess without further ado, let's just get into it. Hello, Gillian, and welcome to the Hayley Osborne Show. I am actually very thrilled to have you here and honoured. How are you?
I'm very well, Hayley, and thank you for inviting me. I'm pretty excited to be here and hang out with you today too. Yeah. I'm sure we're going to have a super chat. You and I have got so many things that we can cover off together. It'll be great.
I feel like if I didn't press record, we probably we were talking for ages, and there's so much juicy content before we actually hit record, and I was like, let's just press record and let's keep chatting because we have a lot in common, and you are fire, you are power in everything that you do. So if people don't know that are listening who you are and what you do, I would love for you to tell us.
Sure. Well, my name is Gillian Fox, and my business is all about helping women navigate their career. So we work a lot with women in corporate, which I know is quite different to your audience. However, Hayley, I think a lot of the challenges in navigating a career have a lot of parallels, things about cultivating the right relationships, the self-leadership piece, how you deal with the challenges that are presented to you, systems and processes, all of those sort of things. So I have been in this space for 15 years now and helping women really find the confidence and the capabilities to get that next step up in their career and feel really good about it. And before that, I had a career in the wonderful world of magazines. So that was really colourful and fun, and probably the most ideal way to spend the early part of my career. Some parts of it was a little bit like The Devil Wears Prada. Most of it was super duper. I learned a lot there that I think has helped me in this path today, because I had to navigate all the complexities of that business environment. I led a team of 140 people. I was responsible for 12 magazines when I started, and I was 31 maybe at the time. And I had a little guy who wasn't even one at that stage. So it was a very interesting stage of my career, and I did that for a number of years. And then probably around my mid-30s that I went out and I started my own business. So I'm very passionate about helping women, because I know, particularly when you've got kids as well, that it can be a tough journey. And there's a lot of women who have great ambition and great capability, but, we all need some help sometimes in figuring out how to be a lot more thoughtful in the way that we unpack some of the things that we want to pull off in our career.
So I have a question for you. And I think that the people that are listening are very similar, like with, they're small business owners, they're high achievers, they have like massive expectations, they're perfectionists. So what advice would you give to navigate or respond to being a perfectionist, that as well as like a high achiever? I'm one of those people, so please.
Well, I totally get it, because I'm a recovering perfectionist myself, so I can speak very authentically from this space. And I bet you do have lots of perfectionists, Hayley. Like, I bet you do. And you think about, I just think this is such a showstopper for people, but a lot of people tend to wear it as a badge of honour because they believe it has enabled them to achieve the success they have to date. But here's the difference. You can achieve great things in your career or in your life by being a perfectionist. And I honestly believe, if I look back on my career, I pulled off some great things. But you achieve it with lots of hustle and lots of fear in the tank. And that's a very different journey to wanting to achieve things joyfully. And being that perfectionist, I remember my mantra, Hayley, you'll kill yourself laughing at this. My mantra was, do it really well or don't do it at all. Now think about how that plays out.
Yeah, my thing at the moment is done is better than perfect, which is like opposite.
Yeah, but I love that, you see, because it opens up possibilities rather than this extreme style of thinking where you say to yourself, well, it just won't be good enough. I mean, think of social media, right? So they get their strategy and now they have to create the posts and put themselves out there. If you're going to be a perfectionist about it, you're going to be incredibly judgmental and operate with a high level of fear in nailing that to the level that you want. And you're more likely to not like the process, and you might pull it off, but it's probably going to be more arduous than it needed to be. And your progress is going to be slower. So I think the misnomer in it all is we think that perfectionism is the same as high achieving, but it's not. It's great to have high standards, but you can't operate with that level of fear. You've got to have that capacity to back yourself, to be able to go, you know what, it may not be to the standard that I want, but I'm actually going to go in, I'm going to do my absolute best, give it a red hot go, and hope it lands where I need. Yeah.
What would be like your number one strategy to like help women deal with that, to overcome that, move through it, get to the other side?
Yeah, the question that I absolutely got obsessed with that helped me, Hayley, is what is the worst case scenario? Like, super simple, but think about that. Like, what is the worst case scenario? I'm going to make this business phone call. They're rude to me. They say no. Maybe they're mean. Can I deal with any of those things? Not nice things, but can I actually deal with those things? I can deal with them. They're not going to break my career. You know what I mean? It might be a moment that I don't enjoy, but I'll be getting on with the show, I can assure you.
Mm.
And when you deal with the downside, like that is the worst case scenario, it kind of allows the fear to drop and to step into that place of, I'm getting on with things. I'm just going to be more action orientated and make things happen for me now. And I just think there's such beauty in that. You've got to create thought strategies that are going to help you keep moving forward. I really believe that you need to cultivate confidence.
Yeah, I think women in general, as opposed to men, are actually quite hard on ourselves. I know I am. And if you were to ask the same thing to a male, they'd be like, just do it. Just
Yeah,
do
we
the
make
thing.
it a bit more
What are you
complex.
worried about? Just do it. It's like, what? Okay, it's that easy. It actually is that easy. So I talk a lot about confidence and having the confidence to show up, through your marketing and things like that. And I also say, you can't wait until you're confident to show up, because that isn't a strategy.
I love
You
that,
will
Hayley. That's
never
so
be
good.
confident. So you've got
Yeah.
to do the showing up to actually feel that confidence. What do you say to people to become more confident? Because this is your jam.
It is. And I feel like it's a bit overused, and the same with the imposter syndrome, right? So
Oh,
women are
100%.
so quick to label themselves, I'm an imposter, it's my problem, I'm an imposter. And I totally empathize with that. I say this with great affection. Honestly, I do, and empathy at the same time. But would any of us feel more confident if we had the skills to be more influential, if we built our strategic and business acumen, if we had strategies to deal with the challenges in our work? I dare say we would. So my approach to confidence when I'm working with the women in our career programs is to break it down. It's like, well, let's get practical. Where are the gaps? What are the practical things that you can do more of, less of, or differently that is going to really give you your power when you're in that work environment? Because if you're sitting in a meeting with senior stakeholders, for example, and you have the tools to engage them with a more elevated business conversation where you're more compelling talking about things, you feel more confident.
Mm,
It's just a no-brainer to me. In the
yeah.
same way, Hayley, that you help your clients, you're giving them all these frameworks and goals and tools and skills, like that creates confidence. There's no
Correct.
doubt about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's easy to look at somebody's like one or your one and compare that to somebody else's 20. It's very easy. But I feel like if you can stay in your own lane, there's nobody else in that lane. So
Yeah.
stay in your lane, like do your competitive research, look around, but stay in your lane, because as a thought leader, no one can ever be you. No one's in that lane. And that is massive amount of confidence that should build,
Yeah. I think that's great
internally.
advice. Yeah, I think that's great advice, particularly because it keeps you focused on the right things. And I think that's one of when you go into the comparison game, what you do, you stop thinking about the things that you're doing really well because your filter is looking at what they're doing well. So you need a circuit breaker of
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
Yeah, I think some of it's to do with intentional thinking. And I know that, people talk about this all the time. Um, but like, imagine, Hayley, you and I want to crack our 5K time for 30 minutes. Okay, that's our goal. And we both turn up to the race, a 5K park run, and we both just go over the 5K. And you look at that experience and you say, well, that was amazing. I love the race atmosphere. It was incredible running alongside everyone on this beautiful morning.
I was
And
going to just say, hang on, we're both runners. For those of you that don't know, I run and Gillian runs as well. So we're talking about running and getting like a sub time, a good time. Okay, perspective.
yeah, we probably needed to frame that up. Thank you. Thank you. And so let's say you see that as a super positive experience and I walk away from it going, I didn't get my goal. So disappointed in myself. And, that's the kind of where you've got to catch yourself, right? Because those thoughts and really sitting in that mindset, that's going to deplete your confidence.
Mm.
And that's where I think it counts hanging around with the right people. Like, you know what I mean? You got to have people that, are geared that way, because they will always inspire you to think more positively and just see your potential a little bit more. Yeah, I think
100%.
you do that for your clients, definitely.
I like to think that I do, yeah, because there is, I ask for a lot of feedback on how like my clients feel and how like the membership is going and everything. And in that, the most common thing is your energy, Hayley, and like how you I guess exude that into the community and that gives us energy. And that's lovely. That's lovely. So I wanted to ask you, you headed a team of 140 at, probably Australia's biggest magazine house. Like, why? Second.
Second largest, second largest.
Why did you start your own business? And like, what did that look like? How did that evolve? Because that would have been a massive leap for you. So there's probably people listening that are like hugely successful in their corporate careers too. But what was your journey into moving and crying, knowing like, oh, but you've built two very successful businesses and you should be so proud. And for those listening too, I'm going to link everything about Gillian that you can stalk her in the show notes, and we'll talk about that after. But yeah, how?
Oh,
What?
yeah.
Where
I
did
know, it's funny, right? It's funny, and I think people have a lot of limiting beliefs around changing career paths, because I did do a radical shift in career path. So I when I was at uni, I did an arts degree and then I started studying law, and I thought that's what I should be doing. And I didn't like it. And I came from a family that worked in media, and I ended up marrying a man who worked in media. He still works in media. And so I kind of fell into it. But it was so much fun. I just had so much fun. But then I got to this point, and it was after Ollie, who is now 21, was born, where I was offered this gig to launch an incredible publication in Australia. It should have been like the dream thing, the thing that, like the career opportunity that makes your heart sing. And it didn't. It just didn't. And I was profoundly surprised how just I wasn't affected by it. Anyway, I went home. And I shared this with John, my husband, and I said, I think it's a sign. I think it's a sign that my time has come to an end, because I can't operate in this space and not be super passionate. And I know it looks like a super opportunity, but John, I've been thinking about starting a leadership organisation, and I would really like to resign on Monday.
Wow.
And to his credit, he asked me more questions about it, obviously. And to his credit, he goes, okay. I had a 6-week period that I had to work out. And then I had no qualifications, Hayley. I had nothing. And I stepped out. I went and got some qualifications, coaching and all of that. And I just had this view, which really came from my business experience more than anything, around what people needed. I had some good mentors and all of that. I went to design programs and off I went. And I did not have any business for 3 months, and it scared the pants off me. Honestly, scared the pants off me. I had a massive network. Everyone was happy to see me, but I wasn't getting the bookings. And then, so I was getting quite, maybe, what am I going to do? And then I got a great piece of business from the Gold Coast, and it was a really solid piece of business, and it kind of got me locked and loaded. It took me 12 months to deliver this piece of business, and it got me locked and loaded and, you know what I mean, performing. But it was hard, but I loved it, Hayley. And there was no point in time that I questioned, should I be doing this? It was always a good business fit for me, starting my own business. And even today, I just love every part of my career. And I feel like the best is still to come, which is very energizing. Do you know what I mean? When you're so excited about what you can do and what's possible in your career. I'm sure you feel the same.
Yeah, I'm really passionate about what I do. I'm really passionate about helping small businesses. So let's talk about, so you've got the Gillian Fox Group, that is your business, and you also have your brilliant career.
That's right. So the
Tell
Gillian
me,
Fox Group is,
yep.
sorry, go on. You go on.
No, tell me.
So that's the corporate side, the
Yep.
Gillian Fox Group, because we do a lot of stuff in organizations. And our work there is all about helping those companies get more women into the leadership pipeline. Okay, so we go in and we run women's leadership programs, sponsorship programs. We do a lot of executive coaching and that sort of thing. And then your brilliant career is public programs. And that's where our signature program is Rise Accelerate. It's a 90-day career program where we go through so many tools and all that sort of stuff. It's a lovely community of like-minded women that come to this. And yeah, it's really where I see the future of the business going. I'm very excited about that side of the business because I just feel there's a need for women to acquire the skills that they don't actually teach you in those leadership programs internally and some of those more generic courses, like how to deal with the office politics, you know what I mean? Or how do you cultivate confidence when you've got a boss that's being a bit belittling, you know, or how do you lean in and speak up? Like, I get theoretically you need to do that, but what do I say? So I think there's so much opportunity for women to be so much more confident and skilled in the way that they navigate their career. And that's what I love focusing on with the Rise program.
Yeah, I almost feel like as I was entering corporate, like I worked in Sydney for 5 years. I worked on some of the biggest alcohol brands in the world. And going into that space was very daunting. And I came across things I never had in my life, very confronting. You know, it is I don't want to say this, but it is a bit of a dog eat dog world if you do not have your wits about you and you have big dreams when you do play in corporate. And so what you do is give women the opportunity to be confident, to show up, to not let those things sort of bother you. And I almost wish like in that time of my life, and I would have been like late 20s, I think, I wish I had something like that to teach me, but I got thrown under the bus hard and, you know, it's sink or swim and lucky I swim, and I like rose above all of that because there's things you can't foresee happening when you've got big dreams you want to do, but there's always someone else that will come into when you're, in that situation. So I definitely think it's needed and women probably need it a little bit more than what men do, just to have those opportunities.
Yeah, I think we're different, right? Like we're different. And all the research tells us that, we respond to things differently, and different things happen in organizations differently as well. Like one of the pieces of research is that, men or leaders just in general, but they're mostly men at the top, they will sponsor or advocate, recommend, if you like, people like them with careers like them. And it's unconscious bias, but if you're an executive leadership team that is all blokes, baby boomer blokes, then your inclination is going to be to support other blokes with similar careers to yours. And there might be the most talented females in that organisation, but they're not on their radar. So you can see there's some profound showstoppers, for organisations to overcome, because the research tells us that women have 3 times as many mentors as men, but men have twice as many sponsors. And sponsors are the ones that are going to get you the next promotion and gig within corporate. So there's different things the experience for men and women is different. It's It's just different.
And that translates as well across to owning a business. The experience for men and women are different. And, you know, men have their golf game and they do their business on the golf course. And what is the female version of the golf game? What is that? I don't know.
I don't know either, Hayley. I don't know what it is either, but I think I love when women do help each other. Like, I think there is such community and power in doing that and not being cagey about it, just like genuinely stepping in and supporting each other. I think there's such value there, and I think if you can lead by example doing that, I think we can actually cultivate more of it. Yeah. Yeah.
So I've got here the elusive work-life balance. So that's a balance, it's a blend, but I have spoken about having good habits and things recently on the podcast in relation to getting consistent on your social media and how to create those stacking habits and rituals. Like what does that mean to you? What is the power of having good rituals in your life to help you accelerate in the areas that you want to?
Oh, Ellie, I'm going to ask you your 3 top ones in a second because I'm so genuinely curious.
Yes.
But I am such a believer in this. And I think it's, you know, I've always been a little bit way inclined, but probably the last 10 years, I definitely see the value in planning and good habits and rituals and all of that. So, for example, the morning, and I am a morning person, is very important to me at getting set up. So I have a very, very disciplined, if you like, morning routine, but I love it. I get up. It's not unusual for me to get up at 4:30, and I love it. The place is quiet. No one's around. It's like that moment of serenity. And the first thing I do, which a lot of people would argue with, is I head to the coffee machine. So I'll clean my teeth and then I head to the coffee machine and then I will sit down. I often journal. So I will sit down and here it is from this morning session. I will sit down and I will journal and I will also plan out the day. So there's 2 things that happen there. And then I jump into my exercise kit and I'm normally out the door by no later than 5:45. And I'm back at about 7:10. So my mornings are beautiful. Like, I love them. Like, sometimes I might put some music on while I'm journaling. Occasionally I'll meditate. I kind of went through that phase, but now I just find journaling very peaceful. You know, I can be forward focused. I can think short term. I can think long term. I can do whatever I like. There's no boundaries. But that morning piece is so important for getting my head in the right place for the day. Yeah.
I love that.
And planning days. And I have a lot of rigor to the way that I do things. I think more than most. And I don't know if it's right. It's not right or wrong, Hayley. I think we're all different. You know what I mean? And that's what I have discovered that works for me.
Yeah.
What about you? Tell me about you.
Oh, my rituals. So they've changed a lot in the last 3 years. I am still very much a morning person. Prior to having my young children, who are 1 and 2, I would be dressed and out the door either for a walk or a run early. So I would be up at 5:30 and out the door definitely just before 6 for exercise, whether that be in the gym or whatever. But so right now in my life, and I don't think that there's a wrong or a right way, but I do feel like the way that your day unfolds is going to be very much determined by how you start your day. And so for me now, I try and get to the gym early, but my life is so different that my children need to be, I need to do everything for them. And so it's the little things. I am up, coffee, first thing straight away. And I always make sure that I am fully dressed, ready for the day. I get dressed, and I am not a tracksuit and t-shirt kind of a girl, ever, never. And and I'm not a yoga pants kind of a girl either. Okay. So I'm dressed. I'm talking like a pair of jeans or lounge pants that look nice. And I will always like properly dressed, and I will do like my hair, I'll do makeup or whatever, maybe not mascara, just some BB cream. And so I'm always ready to go for the day. And that might mean I stay home for the day. I could not leave the house, but I'm ready for anything, whether I have kids in tow or not. And that just sets me up for a really beautiful day, so that when they take a nap or whatever, I am so ready to go straight into either working or whatever little thing that I can get done in that power time, I get done. But I always make sure that I'm ready. I have really good intentions at the beginning of the day. So that's what keeps me, I guess, in with a positive mindset, and I have a really good head start.
Yeah, I love that, Haley. And you do. Every post I see, you look absolutely gorgeous. You have great sense of personal style anyway, but you do look switched on and ready to go. And I think it is a discipline that says that I am happy for the day to unfold. You know what I mean? There's such a presence and energy just in that single act of choosing to look nice for the
Yeah.
day.
A
Yeah,
couple of times a week I go for a run. So I'm the transition of getting up and getting dressed to do that is less than 5 minutes. But I'll always have a coffee before I go. And so that intention is still there. And I'm a lot kinder to myself now after having children. I'm still very hard on myself. If I was a boss, I am a boss, but I would be, I am a nasty boss to myself. Does that make sense? I am very driven. I'm very hard on myself, and I have big goals. And so I think like those things all play a part in achieving them. You know, you set the small intentions at the start of the day. So I don't think there's a right or a wrong way. I think you've got to do like what works for you. And I love that you journal as well. And meditated and realize that wasn't for you. It's not for everyone.
No,
And that's
no, you kind of
okay.
find the thing, don't you? Yeah. And I think
Yeah.
for you, Haley, like, when I think back when Ollie was a little guy, like life is so different, right? You know what I mean? You have different phases of your life. And I have so much more flexibility now because he's 21. He still
Yeah.
lives at home and he's still parenting to some extent. But, it's a very different existence to having little people in the house. And so you need to constantly tweak and figure out things. You know what I mean? It is a journey, and you can't think you're just going to copy and paste what looks good over there to over here. Because I honestly believe that the people who have the most successful lives, if you like, when it comes to family life, they're very collaborative in, talking to their partner, going, this is important to me, I'll support you here. You know what I mean? You're kind of working as a team, figuring out things. And, you sound like you've got an incredible husband who achieves great business success, and you're very ambitious. So, you know what I mean? You've got to consciously create the path for both of you to
Yeah.
pull off what's important.
Oh, we juggle. It is a juggle, but it is a supportive juggle. Like I'm very supportive of him, and he's equally very supportive of me, which works so much. So
Beautiful.
I love that. So I've got a couple more things I want to ask you. What's the one thing that you are most proud of business wise?
Because you always want to go, the child.
No, no,
Business
no.
wise. Yeah, business wise. Um,
You do have a book, okay? You're very well accomplished. I think you don't sell yourself enough. Everyone who is listening, you need to stalk this woman because she
bless.
is fire. Honestly, I feel like you downplay yourself. You have a book. You've got two amazing businesses. Like, what are you
What am
most?
I most proud of? I think, hey, I really think, and you'll relate to this because I think you're very similar in this way. I'm most proud, and it's a quality rather than one thing, I'm most proud of my courage.
Yes.
Because I think it takes a lot of courage to do new things and know that no one's going to give you a little feedback talk at the end of running your own business. Say, good job, Gil, so proud of you. Like, you've got to manage all of that. And I think you look at the stats. So many people go out of small business because they just can't find the tenacity or the resilience to deal with it. So it's not for the faint-hearted. And I feel like my superpower, and I don't talk about it at all, but I feel like my superpower has always been my courage. It's kind of like that, well, I'm just going to give it a go. You know what I mean? I may not yell about it from the grandstands, but I'm just going to quietly step into that space and give it a red hot go.
Yeah, because to remember, nobody is going to come and knock on your door and go, hello, you've graduated to the next level in your life now or in your business. Off you go. You're now the CEO and you need to own that. But you need to be the one to crown yourself.
Absolutely. You've really got to have your own back and just keep finding that strength. And of course you're going to wobble, like everyone wobbles, right? But then you need to recalibrate and get back on the path again. And you've got to own that. You know what I mean? Because staying in that space of, for me, or this is so hard, like in my mind, just like you, I've got big dreams. Like it's just going to slow things down, Hayley. It's just going to get in the way.
All right. So where do you see your business in 5 years?
Yeah, I see Your Brilliant Career really taking off, to be quite honest with you. I think we will have a massive community with more offerings that help women really cultivate the brilliant career that they want. I think we'll have evergreen programs, possibly a membership. I just think we're just going to have so many more services that will really feed into what the pain points are for women, who want a great career. Our programs only attract women who do have an appetite for their career. You know what I mean? They won't come to us unless they're already quite high achieving and wanting to pull things off. And that's who I want. You know what I mean? And we have some really specific beliefs in the business around, salesmanship. You can do it without turning into someone you don't like. It's all possible. You can navigate office politics and you need to. And it doesn't mean that, again, you have to turn into someone that you don't admire in the business. We believe style is really important, just like your point about waking up in the morning and dressing yourself so you're in that space of operating well. We just really love the idea of helping women have the skills and the toolkit to help themselves. Yeah.
Beautiful.
It's great. I just love it. And we attract beautiful women into the community too. So, you know what I mean? It just feels good.
You can tell that you love it. You can tell that you're really passionate about it. You light up when you talk about it and smile, and your energy is so lovely to be around, Gillian. Thank you so, so much for joining me today. So if people want to find you, and I like to say stalk you and all the things, how can our listeners connect with you?
Super easy. It's all Your Brilliant Career. So jump on Instagram, Your Brilliant Career, same with Facebook. And then the website is Your Brilliant Career. And our programs, there's free blogs, there's lots of freebies on there. Our podcast is there, Your Brilliant Career. Like, it's all there. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
It was such a pleasure. And Hayley, I just admire what you're doing so much, and the passion and energy that, you know what I mean? It's just so evident. And I'm not even up close and personal. I'm in a different state. And I look at your Instagram account and I just think it's fantastic. And I have no doubt that you're making a tremendous impact on all these small business owners. So fantastic.
You are too kind.
All righty.
Bye.
Bye.
I hope you've enjoyed listening to this episode. If you have, hit subscribe so you don't miss any new episodes released every Tuesday. And while you're there, leave me a review. I would absolutely love to read it. Also, don't forget to tag me at Hayley K. Osborne over on Instagram and share this post with your audience so they can get learning too. Sharing is caring. If you want more, head over to hayleyosborne.com.au/podcast for today's show notes and links. Catch you next week for another episode of The Hayley Osborne Show.